Our video today has to do with solving inequalities using addition and subtraction. So just as the notes suggest, we are only going to be adding and subtracting, so no multiplying and no dividing, and then we will also be graphing. So the first set of directions you'll notice on your homework say state what number you would add or subtract from each side of the inequality. State though, so it does not say to figure it out, it just says say what you would do first basically. So since we always start on the side with the variable, this 5 is positive, your answer for number 1 would be to subtract 5. And again, it does not ask you to do this, so please make sure to read directions carefully when you're doing homework. The second one, we have the side with the variables, the right side again. We have a negative 8.7, so we would add 8.7. But that's all you're doing because it doesn't ask you to actually solve. You go to your next set of directions and it says to solve and graph your solutions. So in order to solve, the first thing that we do whenever we're solving is that we try to get the variable by itself. So here's the p, so we would add 4 to both sides. So this time we're going to actually do it. And you're going to end up with p less than 3. There's no other numbers, so you know that that's the answer. For graphing purposes, just to remind us how to do it, we're going to put the solution, so 3 is going to go in the middle. Put some numbers bigger on the right-hand side, like 4 and 5. Put some numbers smaller on the left-hand side, like 2 and 1. And then just a review, because it's open, because it has no bar, it's going to be an open circle, just like we did last week. So open circle on 3. And it points to the left, so we're going to point to the left. And that's the answer for number 3. Let's try another one. Again, start on the side with the letter, so we've got x over here on the right-hand side, so we will start by subtracting 32 to both sides. This will cancel out. So 7 minus 32, you can go ahead and punch that in your calculator, is going to be a negative 25. And then bring down the inequality sign. Now, I don't personally like the letter on the right-hand side. I like to switch it, so I'm going to switch it around. I notice that it points towards the x, so even though I switch it, it's still going to point towards the x, and then I put the negative 25. So this is what I'm going to use for graphing purposes. For graphing, again, we put the answer, the negative 25, in the center, so we'll put a negative 25. You want numbers that are bigger to the right, so negative 24 is bigger, negative 23 is bigger, and then numbers smaller on the left, so like negative 26, negative 27. Then you're going to notice that you have this bar. This bar means you're going to have a closed circle. Closed circle on 25, that's negative, and we're going to point, so we're back down here, we're going to point to the left just like our arrow does, and you'll have something like that. And this should be review. Okay, we have 2 more. Number 5, we have decimals, so you will have some decimals on your homework. Same thing though, start on the side with the variable, so we're starting on the right, it's a negative, so we're going to add 1.2 to both sides. So you're going to add 1.2 to both sides. So when you add, again, you can put it into a calculator. You can also just add straight down. So this is going to be 4.5 and then greater than W. Again, I'm going to switch this so that the letter is on the left side. So W, and then again it points. 4.5. So that's my solution. And then for graphing, put the answer in the middle. So 4.5 is here, something bigger like 5 or 6, something smaller like 4, like 3. Don't feel like you have to keep the decimal going, you can just leave it. No bar, so open circle. Open circle. Points to the left, so we're going to go to the left. And I did not realize that these all are going left. All right, our last one is going to have fractions in it, since sometimes we do have to deal with fractions. Okay, so our last problem squeeze this in. Number 6, d minus 1/5 less than or equal to 3/5. So again, starting on the side that has the variable, so this d on the left, so we're going to add 1/5 to both sides. Again, I tried to give you a good mix since on homework you do have fractions and decimals. So then 3/5 and 1/5, as soon as you see that you have common denominators, you just go ahead and add the tops. So 3 plus 1 is going to give us 4/5. Bring down the inequality arrow, bring down the d. D's on the left-hand side, so that's my solution. I will put 4/5 in the center of my graph, so this is a fraction. So bigger than 4/5 would be 5/5, but 5/5 is just 1. Smaller would be 3/5. Okay, so again, still keeping with bigger on the right, smaller on the left. It has a bar, which means it's going to be a closed circle. So closed circle, so solid, and it points left, so we're going to point left. And again, I apologize, I don't know why they're all going left. If they happen to point to the right, then you would go to the right.